to be talking with you about the benefits of shared reading. We're going to go over this together as a continued education course, and I just hope that you can really find some benefit in this in your content area. First, what is shared reading? Shared reading happens when teachers read aloud from a text that students also have access to. This could either be on a smartboard, on a projector, or even a printed out handout that you give to your students. Typically, a lot of marking up is involved in shared reading, so we don't like to use textbooks, but if you're not going to be using it in a markup situation, you could also use the textbook. It is a collaborative reading strategy between teachers and students. The outcomes of shared reading are that students report higher reading engagement with shared reading. It also allows educators to directly teach and demonstrate comprehension strategies across disciplines. So by comprehension strategies, I mean the specific things you're hoping for students to get out of text that they're reading in your content area. It really helps to improve disciplinary literacy in every area. So these are the components of shared reading. If you want to implement shared reading in your classroom, this is how you do it. Select a text that clearly models the intended reading behavior. So if you are hoping to do comparing and contrasting, you need to have a text that does that well. If you are hoping to show your students how to find definitions using a glossary, then you need to have a text that has a glossary. Whatever it is, your text needs to succinctly and very clearly fit into the reading behavior that you want to show them. So discuss the purpose of the text with students before you begin. Make sure and be explicit about this. Help them to understand where they're going before you even start. Choose how to best make the text accessible to your students in your classroom. That's going to be different for every teacher and every classroom and every content area based on the way your classroom's set up, but every student needs to be able to equally see and access that text. And then you should also be explicit about reading strategies while reading and encourage students to do it with you. You can never have too many examples in this case. Here are some examples of shared reading in action. Mrs. Jones provides her American history students with a printed copy of several Civil War letters. She explains that they will be evaluating letters and comparing and contrasting the viewpoints of the North and the South. She reads the letters aloud and encourages students to mark up their letters as she does. Mr. Harvey projects a series of word problems onto his smartboard in his calculus class. He says that the goal will be to identify the important information and the questions the problem is asking for. He then demonstrates his thinking out loud to his students as he highlights. I wanted to give two different examples that were not in an ELA setting. I think that a lot of us think of reading as being limited to ELA, but it is important in every content area. In conclusion, shared reading is useful across all content areas, and it promotes disciplinary literacy in everything that we teach. It can be an engaging alternative in content areas where reading is not typical. So if you are teaching art, if you are teaching math, if you are teaching shop, you're teaching areas where typically students do not have reading as part of their curriculum in that class, then shared reading can be a great way to address that together and to become good at reading for that content area. It also works well as an intervention technique if students are stuck. So if you are finding your students stuck on a certain topic or they're not really comprehending what it is that you're hoping they will learn, shared reading is a great way to display that and teach it to their students. Okay, well, I hope that you've learned something from this short presentation, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Please email me if you have any questions. Thanks. References from the different points that I mentioned if you want to look them up and read them yourself. Thanks.